Even right now, I don't really trust it too much. Hey, shut the f up. Well, this is not a usual way to start this video. And if you've been following along to the series, I'm sure you're wondering why it's been such a little bit of a longer delay of posting this video compared to when I posted the last video. Honestly, real life, it happens, and apparently came across a couple projects that are time sensitive. And normally when I like to do projects, especially for filming stuff for content on here, is one project at a time. Finish one, move on to the next, move on to the next, move on to the next. Not really accumulate, do a bunch of multiple stuff at the same time. But of course I got one kind of not really dumped on me. It was bound to happen, but kind of a little bit time sensitive, and that is that thing right there. Got a truck for a reasonably pretty good price. Just needs some really good TLC. Mechanically it's great, but cosmetically it needs some shit done, and it needs some upgrades. I thought about and actually attempted to try to film some stuff to do this too, but all I'd be really doing is just repeating the same content that there is on the repairs on this, and those type of videos is like you're only watching it just to learn how to fix one thing and that's it, instead of like, hey, I want to watch this thing get built. And especially this one is going to be done in pieces, but there are some priorities I got to deal with right now, which you can see I got parts in the back, which is I'm powder coating the bumper and cleaning up the tow hitch and doing some electrical down there. Already had to take care of some other bullshit. Freaking tailgate latch you don't want to open, had to fix that. But there's other things here and there I got to upgrade on because it's an Avalanche. They're not really super heavy duty for towing and stuff, but I do like to have that safety margin. So I got some upgrades I'm gonna do to it. Put a transit oil cooler in it, cold air intake, retune the computer in it, which is great because I'm located in California and you're not allowed to have those in California, so you got to ship it to somewhere else to here. And some headliner sagging, got to deal with that. Sunroof doesn't want to open, got to fix that. Bunch of stuff. But anyways, so if there's a delay in content and stuff, it's just because I have to kind of get this basically better and roadworthy. Even right now, I don't really trust it too much. Hey, shut the f up. So, plus my ABS brake light is on, and I got to figure out why that's on. So, anyways, there's that project, and the reason why that's also kind of time sensitive is not just because of, hey, I want to get it running. I'm going to be using it for the next off-road season, which as of right now, as of filming this, it is mid-March, and off-road season for you know, the southwestern region of the damn country, Southern California, Arizona, whatever, is typically late fall into early spring, because it's not hot around those times out there. You don't want to go out there in 120 degrees. But you know, I got things like, you know, this has to get dealt with too. Thing, another project. And I'm also looking at acquiring a dune buggy and a travel trailer, which in my case got some work to do with that too. Well, anyways, I'm not giving up on the model. In fact, we're actually going to get started now on the nacelles, which is, for me, it's been a while. So honestly, this video will be about the same length as all the other videos I've done before, except for putting it together is probably going to be maybe twice, 3, 4, 10 times longer than it would take me normally as before, just because I got to deal with like this. So let's do a little transition. We'll start getting into painting the nacelles. So apparently I started filming without that little red light stupid thing not coming on. So anyways, just going to repeat what I just said to myself apparently. Alright, so obviously we're going to start working on the nacelles. And the way I'm going to go about it is I'm going to work from the top down. Just because there's been some issues with this masking kit. It's not quite perfect. And if it's either going to end up being too long or too short or someplace, I'd rather have it happen underneath where it's hard to see than somewhere in the middle or on the body. So I'm going to start on the top, down, and in smaller sections, which I think you should do with all kits really, because obviously by now we all know painting this kit is a mother. So I'm working on the highest part of the upper part of the spine. Now this masking pattern here, as you can see, it's already red because I already stupid red light, red color. So the way this pattern goes, it's 2 rows. They're in an arrow pattern. Every space should be a white, then a color, then a white, and a color, and a white, and a color, and a white, and a color. And it's also staggered because there's 2 sides to it. So the color that's next to it should be white, then a color, a white, and a color, whatever, you know, staggered. So now, if you're going by, you know, if you have a paint color guide that you're going by and you're trying to match the pattern, cool, whatever. But you know, it does. For this, you can do your own color choice of pattern. Where I'm starting it is using the least colors first. There's going to be fewer reds, so I'm starting with that first, and I'm going to be finishing what would be the color that's will be mostly prominent other than white will be gold. So obviously, like I said, I already shot the red. So just to catch up, I'm going to go ahead, reapply masks, and weed out for the next color. Also, before you actually choose, as you start, before you weed it out, you know, make a little mark on which one you're going to do, because it's so hard to see the spacing. That way you can count just to make sure that you are having, that way you don't have 2 colors right next to each other as far as the roll going this way. So that would just, you know, give you a visual reference just so you don't yeah. All right, now you know what I'm going to do next. So next color. Alright, next I'll just unmask all this stuff and you can see the pattern. Unmask and just a light dust of pearl white. Make sure my gun is set in there. Right now this is actually kind of a good opportunity. Actually, I could use a little bit more. Hold on. Okay, that's better. This, because we have two nacelles here, this is a good opportunity, you know, to compare when it comes with using the pearl white. So the top one is with the pearl white and the bottom one is without. So move it around and hopefully this camera will pick it up. And maybe you can actually decide on your own if you want to do my pearl white method or not. Honestly, I like my pearl white method, so this is the without, and now no going back, gotta match it up. Now I can visually look. Oh yeah. So this is kind of like what the pattern should kind of look like. So I'm gonna let that dry up, and of course I'm gonna do just a very little bit light coat on top of this, just to, again, I prefer to seal it up as I go. Clean out my gun, and then hopefully it won't be too long before we start going down this way. And again, I gotta go back out there and deal with the truck today too. So now, working our way out as planned. This section here was a motherfucker to mask, just like the rest of this goddamn masking set. Does, of course, the usual theme for this kit is doesn't stick for, especially right here because it's just a thin area and it's just little rectangles. Applying it, this was all meant to be one piece. I ended up cutting it down to 3 sections. I ended up cutting it, splitting it out from here just to mask this, and then I just did a strip here and a strip here. Basically came down to, you almost have to kind of get it on here and adjust it by hand, and it's still looser than you know, a goose. So I'm expecting blow off from airbrushing. I hope not, even though I kind of carefully tape the edges as close as I can without too much overlap, just to kind of hold them in place. And I'm pretty much kind of make a mirror image of it, just like, you know, the pattern up here. So I'm kind of repeating that. So I'm kind of also going random on this, where it's primarily going to be mostly white, but just, you know, just a few little color to separate it. So I'm actually going to go start with gold on this one. I have it ready to go. So let's see how many little rectangles go flying all over the place. Even though I have my pressure light, so we're going to find out. One. Ooh. Barely made it down that one. I can see this one wants to take off. Lifting. This one right here always wants to lift. Okay, we've survived that round. So I'm gonna go cover these up and pull a few more and just make it up as I go along. Also, I want to point out too, as far as the pattern on how I'm going, I'm kind of keeping it a little bit the same as like I did on the top. Just not letting 2 colors touch each other. I'm spacing it with white and a color and a white and a color, but yet I'm also going random too. So that's just how I'm doing it. Ooh, no you don't. You blow off. I can put my thumb over it. I'll see my piece on that piece. Wouldn't it be this kit without a blow off, wouldn't it? Okay, so just the pearl white on it. Gotta keep it even. And one more pass. This is the pattern. I want to go with it. I like it. Of course, what's really to see right here, it's just a freaking stripe. The real fun is probably the next one. There's like a few gold stripes that go diagonal and that kind of bull. So that's the next part. So now we're on to this section. This is just as annoying as the previous section. As far as mask goes, I kind of apply it the same way because it's another big U shape cut into 3 sections. This section, this one, and apply it that way. Same bullshit. Doesn't want to stick for crap, wants to adjust, so you can kind of have to almost do all these manually. And of course, as you can see, I had to stick some of them with some tape just because they want to pop off because of the curve here. Oh, I forgot something I want to show you. Okay. So the orbital dry dock kit, when it comes with what you get in the masks, you get, the transfer sheet. So you can, you know what I'm talking about if you're doing the transfer sheet. Well, the transfer sheets that they supply, the sheet itself is actually kind of thick. And if it's kind of thick, it'll want to straighten itself out. But when you have curves like this, it's really hard to actually not weed them off, but apply them because it wants to straighten itself out, and which is just a pain. Well, I happened to ran out of the transfer sheets, even though I'm like saving every little piece and try to use the small pieces of whatever I can. Still wasn't enough. Basically, I could have used another at least one more full sheet. Well, anyways, I went out over to Michael's Arts and Crafts and see what they got. I came up across this stuff. This application tape. It's for this. And this little roll here cost me about $10, and it's a foot wide, 12-inch by 5 feet, so you got about this much of it. So basically, you got about 5 sheets worth. Anyways, this stuff is a lot better. This stuff is a lot thinner, so it allows, like for doing better curves, like right along here. The only shitty thing is the adhesiveness of the masks itself is not really that great. But as far as applying when it comes with curved surfaces, this stuff is a lot better. So that's just my opinion. So I just kind of found out. Kind of like this stuff better than what was supplied with the kit. So anyways, moving on. It's time to do some paint. So just like before, I'm going to start with the least used colors, which is red. But pretty much after that, the gold, green, and blue is almost the same. So, but red is just these few little spots. I didn't even put me in some paint here like a jack. So we can do that. Same bullshit. Well, let me check my... Turn down my air a little bit. For this is gold, and the reason why I chose gold to be the final color is because of these little stripe patterns right here, because there's no need to put the color back on when you're on your or the mask back on your final color. This would suck just trying to put that back on, so that's why I left this one out, and it's primarily the biggest color of the four, in case you're wondering. Lost the match, but no big deal because that's the end of that. So, going to unmask this and we'll take a look. So, here's the pattern. Same thing on both, obviously. It's kind of supposed to be almost like a mirror image of each other. So now I'm just going to do that little dusting of pearl white as usual, just because I can. This is my f***ing model. And that's it. Obviously, you know what I'm going to do next. So, time to go into the next area. So now, we're working on the actual side of the nacelle around the chiller grills. What we're going to do on this one is actually the inner part of the nacelle, which this masking on this one is just as bad, if not more so. Now, if you have to, I had to resort on actually taping all my damn masks down because of the curve on this stupid thing. It just doesn't hold. And obviously, you know this series already, which is called Don't Stick for Shit. Anyways, it's actually mostly white. There's just only a few little colors here. So, anyways, we're just going to get started on it. And as far as this goes, blue is the least used color, and it's just a little spot here and a spot here on both nacelles on the inboard side. Actually, I made a mistake. Green is the least used color, and it's just one little tiny square. Lift. All right, my usual final step. Just a little bit more. That's good enough. Kind of hard to tell the pattern with the tape here with the spray on it, but that's what it is. So after I seal this up, I'll be doing this side of it. And of course, which means I'm going to lose my fucking mind masking this shit. So now we're going to do the outboard side of the chiller grill section of the nacelles. It's literally almost the same thing as the inboard side. Color pattern wise, it's also basically almost the same thing. Pick and choose on how you want to do it, basically. And of course, starting with the least used color first, which obviously during the last set it was green, so in this part green is just one little square. And of course the ridiculousness of trying to hold down the masks. So gotta do what you gotta do, you know. It sucks. No wonder why this takes forever to build. Mostly on the paintwork. Telling you, it's since this first color is green, kind of hard to actually visually see the green on my end because of all this green tape. Just because the light in here reflects the green tape off the white and makes it look a little green itself. So anyways, okay, on to the next. Obviously, you know what I'm going to do next, but here, that's what we got. I don't think you can tell a difference on it, but I sure can. So we're almost near the whole wraparound middle section. So the next thing to take care of is down here. So now I got to get masking on that crap. Fucking hell, I'm telling you. That's why this video is probably short, but doing this is been for me about a month just to do this. This is no joke. Now we get to work on literally that section here, getting close to completing the whole wraparound. Again, I like to say, this sucks. But you want to know something? More I think about it, you know, I got inspired on building this thing, as you know, by watching other people on their other channels on building this and seeing how remarkable it turns out. You know, everything's the same thing. You know, this thing takes a lot of time to do. But one of the common things I notice a lot, that if you notice in my series I have done, is show you the work in progress, while others tend to show you the, well, this is what I did. Well, one, I think I know why they do that. Is because they don't want you seeing this dumb shit like this, because it doesn't look professional. Like, hey, I know what the f I'm doing. But you know what? I'll guarantee it. I'll pretty much guarantee it that everybody has to do crap like this just to get something to work. And so as you're watching others and you think it's all perfect, I'll guarantee you they're doing shit like this too. They just don't want to show it, but I'm going to show you because that's how it really is. No fucking bullshit. Anyways, so just like before, going to do the least used color first. On this case, it's going to be blue. Ignore this right here, because as far as this masking kit goes, it actually has a notch cutout for this, which is really stupid, only because, well, what are you supposed to do? Why leave it out? You're going to get overspraying on all the colors on it, and that's not what this is supposed to be. Basically, there's some raised detail here. That's what this is here. And on the next section, there's raised detail on here, which all that will end up be going in gold. This right here is going to be gold itself, but what I'm going to do is afterwards, because of the overspray, and I'm not going to just get all creative on covering this, knowing I'm going to have to remove some of this, I'll just clean that up and paint that as when it comes to over here. But that's in the next section. So let's get started on this. Enough of my freaking rant, because I hate this. This is just dumb. It's annoying. Just letting you know, you're probably going to have to do that too if you're going to do this, or you like watching me go through hell. That's why you're watching. Anyways, let's get spraying. Had to shut the fuck up. So. All right, last step for this section. Just making sure it's even. All right. So that's how my pattern looks. Each side is basically a mirror image of each other, in case you're wondering. So in the next segment, we're going to deal with this and some raised detail, this spot, and there's one over here. So now we're on to this bottom section here. There is no masking that comes with the orbital dry dock kit that involves this area. Basically, it's because you're just painting the raised detail on the lower side of the nacelle. Basically, these little things, this little square thing, which of course is what was kind of masked somewhat over in the last section. But, you know, I just got to do is put the gold right over it because this remained white. And the same thing on where the pylon attaches to the nacelle, that little bulge, but on the outboard side, all of that just gets gold, all of it. And that's it. I'm actually kind of glad there isn't any masking involved with it. Well, as far as having a orbital dry dock kit, because this stuff will stick. For sure. So here we go. Oh, by the way, something also I did notice while doing this. One nacelle has one extra detail than the other. Obviously, you can see this one has this one, while this one does not. Tripped my mind out while I was masking this. Like, what the f? Why it ain't there? Nope, but it's not there. So there we go. Well, this is where we stand at so far. Looks pretty good. So that's the center section of it, the wraparound. You see some of the little detail like this. So obviously here's your outboard and your inboard side. So anyways, all is left for the next video is got to do the end areas and some of the little fine detail painting, like the little red squares, which I'm going to paint that. You can decal it, but that's just, I think it'd be more easier just to paint it. There's a little kind of like diagonal areas that go on the outside here. I don't believe it's part of the masking kit, so we're going to have to do that. And of course, like the RCS thrusters, basically that kind of. But yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know which end's going to be easier, this one or that one, but I'm going to I think I'm going to tackle this first in the next video, only because over here we have a brick pattern, but it's more rounded over here. And of course, the more round, as it's rounded, things don't stick for crap, but it doesn't matter, it's rounded up here too, so. And if you're watching these videos as I put them out, the next one after this one will probably be kind of delayed, only because it's well, obviously, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I got a bunch of shit I got to tend to. Of course, I really tried hard pumping this out this weekend so I can get to this point so I can edit this video. Not only that, masking these nacelles just sucks. It's a lot of work just for a small section. Like I said, it is no joke on how long this model kit takes, and I really believe it's mostly in the paint. So with that being said, I'm going to cut the video off right here, and we'll see you on the next one. And hopefully you're not unsubscribed and you are subscribed, because honestly, I got a goal here. I really need that California burrito.